You're never going to guess one of the most commonly mispronounced words that I hear. It's one of the words that people think it's so easy and they think that they've got it. And you might have been mispronouncing this word for your entire life. That's the subject of this lesson. Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to English Right Now. My name is Roy, and I am your British English teacher. And on this channel, we talk about all things related to British English and a modern British RP accent. And today, drum roll please, we're talking about this word, hello. Now, I imagine you're saying, hang on, Roy, that's the first word I ever learnt. I know how to say this word. And yes, it is the first word, probably the first word you ever learnt. It's the first word you need when you're meeting somebody. And it is one of the most important words in a modern British RP accent. But I will also say it's also one of the most commonly mispronounced ones. That's what we're going to look at. Now, there are some alternatives as you get into the language that you can use instead of the word hello. We can talk about a few of those a bit later on. But let's talk about that pronunciation because it is jam-packed with really important sounds. So there are two common phonetic transcriptions of this word. The first one you might see in a dictionary like the Cambridge Dictionary. It is o, hello, with that vowel sound. The same vowel sound we see in get. But the Oxford Dictionary, and personally the way I pronounce it, they use a schwa in that first syllable, which is a really, really important sound in a modern British RP accent. So in the Oxford Dictionary, it's more like hello, hello, hello. So you can compare hello and hello. They're both pretty similar because that vowel sound exists in the unstressed syllable. So why is this word so important and so often mispronounced? Well, the reason it's so important is from that one word and the pronunciation of the different vowels in particular, I can tell where you're from in the country and I can have a good idea of where you're from in the world. Let's compare the way I say it to an Italian student of mine. So I would say hello, hello. But the other day, my Italian student said allo, allo. So they were pronouncing that last diphthong, the O diphthong, as more like a O, the Italian O. If you compare the way I say cappuccino to an Italian's cappuccino, sorry about my accent there, but hopefully that was close enough, the O is more like a O. So they bring that Italian O over to British English, and therefore I have a good idea of where they're from. Is that a big problem? Well, actually, honestly, not really, because I completely understand, but it doesn't sound quite right. It gives a little bit of distance for the listener. Instantly, I am made aware that you're a non-native speaker. So let's talk about why this word is so mispronounced. So this word has two syllables, stressed on the second syllable. Hello, hello. If you come from an accent which is more like a syllable timed accent rather than a stress-timed accent. British English is a stress-timed language, which means that we put stress on certain syllables and certain words, whereas something like Italian is more kind of democratic with the length of their syllables. So it'll be more like hello than hello, hello. Let's break this word down. The first really important thing is that in a modern British RP accent, we voice that sound, that I'm getting closer to the microphone, that H. So we don't say hello, hello. We say hello, hello. There are accents across the UK that would drop that H. For example, a Cockney accent, they may say hello, hello, rather than hello, hello. So in a modern British RP accent, it's really important to pronounce that H. Hello, not hello or hello. So make sure you pronounce that. There are other accents across the world that sometimes drop their H's as well. So make sure you're pronouncing that H. The second sound that people often get wrong is the second sound. Now, the way I pronounce it, it is a schwa, that sound. It's the sound that appears in unstressed syllables. It is a weak, unstressed vowel sound. A very neutral sound. I've done a whole lesson on that sound. Hello, hello. So we don't say hello, hello, as I often hear it pronounced with that hello, hello, with a really aggressive hello, hello. It is hello, or even hello. But personally, I use the schwa. Now, the schwa is such an important sound in a modern British RP accent. It appears, as I said, in an unstressed syllable. So in a word like water, the second syllable has a schwa in it as an isolated word. But I hear a lot of students stressing that second syllable or putting too much stress on it and making it more like water, water. It is not hello, it is hello. So if you're getting those two sounds right, that will help you sound much more natural in a modern British RP accent. But now let's move on to the L. This is what we call a light L. We pronounce the L as a light L when it comes before a vowel sound. So in this case, it comes before that diphthong O. So this is a signature sound of a modern British RP accent. Maybe it's not as common or as important as the schwa, but it is an incredibly important sound if you really want to master a modern British RP accent. If you pronounce it in the Italian way of the O, it sounds more like hello, hello. Doesn't sound quite right. It doesn't sound as clear as my hello. So let's master that O sound. Look at it. I kind of make a fish mouth. O, O, O. One key mistake I see with this sound is students overly pronouncing that O. They make it more like hello, hello. This sounds really forced. Look at the difference. O is a bit forced and O, O, O. Now this sound has actually changed over time, and this is the sound we use in a modern British RP accent. So make sure you're saying O, not O. If you exaggerate it, it sounds a bit fake and it sounds a bit, unnatural. And of course, there are some alternatives. When you get more into the language, you could say hi as a shortened version, or the most natural way to say it in a modern British RP accent is you're right. You're right. British people say you're right to mean hello. This is not a genuine question. We can make it into more of a question, but you're right and you're right is another way to say hello. But hello is one of the most important words. And if you are really interested in mastering a modern British RP accent and learning those signature sounds and those commonly mispronounced words, the really important words, you can check a couple more out here. But instead of saying hello right now, I need to say goodbye for now, and I'll see you in the next lesson.